required credit hours and not more than one course online basically. Okay, but now basically what's happening in fall semester 2020 is with with few exemptions basically, it is reverting back to the actual regulation basically and regulation implementation during this COVID-19 emergency. And what it's telling us basically is that students attending schools operating entirely online may not take a full online course load and remain in the United States basically. What it's telling us basically is that students cannot remain in the United States if they're basically joining the school that runs completely online courses basically. Okay, and also what they're saying is this memorandum also went and provided guidance that beyond the students who are actually in the country, but also students who are outside the country also. It basically said that if the students who are outside the country, if they sought admissions in the United States to the schools, and if the schools are only giving online courses, then the United States Department of State shall not issue visas to them in their home countries basically, okay, and will not issue the visas, and also they will not be able to come into this country in that way. And also said that U.S. Customs and Border Protection Office, even CBP also at the port of entry, will not allow or should not allow these students into the United States for the fall semester 2020 if they are basically attending the school that only runs online courses during the COVID-19 emergency basically. In addition to that, what it said that basically active students who are currently in the United States enrolled in such programs basically must depart the United States or take other measures such as transferring to a school with in-person instruction to remain in lawful status or potentially face immigration consequences, including but not limited to the initiation of removal proceedings basically. And basically what they're saying is that if you're an active student currently in the United States and they're going to register to that, you have to depart the country basically before fall semester commences. Basically, that means after completion of your summer semester, you should be able to depart United States. You cannot continue in the fall semester within the US. If you do that, then you will be considered out of status in this country and remain unlawfully in this country, which may allow them to basically place you in a removal proceedings. Or they're giving an alternative basically is that if you want to continue a full-time student status, you may be able to transfer your student record and join the program that actually gives you in-person classes basically. Okay, and that is the first part, and this is the part which actually I believe is going to impact thousands of students in this country right now, because majority of the universities as of now thinking to conduct only online courses during the fall semester due to the COVID-19 emergency. Although I believe many of the universities have not officially announced their policies as of now, but we are assuming that even top Ivy League institutions or some of the Ivy League institutions also thinking of conducting complete online classes during this COVID-19 emergency. If that is going to happen, basically, even Ivy League schools, if they implement online courses, then their students also cannot stay in this country. Even they have to go outside the country. And second thing, you all have to understand this is basically this particular modifications are not applicable only to students coming from certain countries. It's applicable to students coming from all the countries across the world as an F1 student or M1 student basically into this country. Okay, so that is very, very important point which we have to understand. But what are the consequences for that? And basically, what is the reason beyond that? Basically, we will talk about that. If somebody cannot continue into the students, basically what they can do and everything, we will discuss about after laying down what are the other two categories and how they have to act in this particular during the situation, everything in this call. And the second class of students, which I discussed here, is basically is that where schools are, if the students enrolled or attending schools, basically were basically operating under normal in-person classes, are bound by existing federal regulations. That means they have to follow the minimum requirements. That means basically they can only take a maximum of 1 class or 3 credit hours online. That's all they can do basically. So all of the remaining credit hours, to be considered to be full-time student status, they have to take in-person classes basically. If the students are attending these schools, they don't have any problem staying in this country and attending classes and completing the courses as normally as scheduled basically. Okay, that is what this particular category is basically saying. Basically, they're just basically saying that if the schools run a traditional program with in-person classes, you are okay to stay in this country, attend the school in person, and if required or if you feel comfortable, and if you want to take a registered class, which is basically generally given online, up to 1 class, which is up to 3 credit hour class in a year, because classes can be sometimes 1 credit hour, 2 credit hour, sometimes even 4 credit hours also. So basically, depending upon what kind of a class you are taking, you can take up to 3 credit hours. So either 1 class or 3 credit hour class you can take as a F1 full-time student status when attending in-person classes. And the third category, this is what basically is the category usually not exist in reality basically, and basically this category is only the exemption which USC is allowing right now, which basically is that if the schools are adopting a hybrid model during the fall 2020 semester due to COVID-19 emergency, then mixture of online courses and in-person classes will be allowed for the students to take more than 1 class or 3 credit hours online. That means basically if the schools are offering hybrid program, okay, like for example, if as I said, if you're attending the college at a graduate level, you have to register. Graduate or higher level, you have to register at a minimum 9 credit hours per semester. Whereas for undergrad, you have to register up to 12 credit hours per semester basically. So if the school offers 50% of the classes online and 50% of the classes in person, or a little bit percentage here and there also, it should not be a problem because school is adapting hybrid model, and school actually will be updating SEVP in the service system that they're actually adapting hybrid model, and they have to file certain paperwork with the SEVP for that reason basically. And even if you're in that kind of a program, you should be okay staying in this country and maintaining full-time legal student status in this country and able to continue your education on schedule required basically. Okay, and also teachers said that, and also SEVP said that in this memorandum that, as I said, schools basically were adapting this hybrid model must certify to SEVP through the form I-20 basically, which we all know that what it is, that the program is not entirely online, that the student is not taking an entirely online course mode for the fall 2020 semester, and then the student is taking the minimum number of online classes required to make normal progress in the degree program. The above exemptions do not apply, and also they said the hybrid model exemption do not apply to F1 students who are actually attending English training programs, or M1 students who are not permitted to enroll in any online courses. Basically, such an M1 program, they are vocational programs. They are not allowed to enroll in any online programs for regulations, such as M1 programs. And these exemptions are not applicable. This hybrid model exemption is not applicable to them. And so one have to understand that these are the things basically. You all have to understand this basically, right? If the USC, if the SEVP has not provided the exemptions in the spring semester and in the summer semester, the schools, if they adopted an online program completely, the students would have been forced to leave the country or depart the country at the time, and still they're allowed to maintain active status while they're abroad and pursue their education as a full-time student in the US. Accordingly, their course come and complete and everything. Therefore, they may be eligible for the OPT and practical training and other things basically without any problem. But however, now in fall semester, they're saying that you have to leave the country. although you can still be active in service by concluding your score and by attending your classes and everything online, being abroad, being in your home country, but still your record can be active in the service system. That's what this memorandum clarifies, basically for the students who wants to enroll in the programs in the US as a full-time students, basically. Okay, and that is only the problem we are seeing. And as I said, if students basically majority of the students I think will be affected with this is basically if the students were actually on the OPT program, they're not going to be affected basically. If the students are on OPT, whether it's a post-completion or a pre-completion, they're not affected any of these things because they're not attending any online classes as an OPT student basically. But if the students are in other practical training programs such as a CPT or any other practical training programs, then if they're attending the school which is going to offer only online courses, they are affected basically. They cannot continue their CPT in this country and stay in this country. That's going to affect them severely basically. So what are the alternatives available basically, right? And especially now COVID-19 emergency situation, I know that still there are no flights to many countries to depart from the United States for the students. That means basically the government actually forcing students to stay unlawfully in this country so that they'll be out of status in this country basically, and they're not considering any humanitarian considerations for the students. That is the sad part, or that is what really astonishing part in this particular implementation of this regulation and everything. My understanding is basically that I think government wants the schools to run traditionally, opening up the campuses, opening up the classes and everything. That could be motivated by the political reasons or economic reasons or many other reasons basically which could be a factor for that. But my strong belief is basically it's very much politically motivated move by the current administration and the agency saying that they're going to allow only the schools to have foreign students if they're basically going to run the campus in a traditional manner, having in-person classes. Only exemption is that they can actually offer more online courses, but they have to offer some in-person classes basically so that politically they can show that they were able to open the schools and everything in the fall semester. Therefore, they have been successful in implementing the policies during the COVID-19 and everything is safe, blah, 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 blah. I think that is what is happening here basically. And unfortunately, that will affect or impact many students. But good thing is we still have plenty of time for the fall semester to start. That is one good thing right now. Now students have an opportunity to do research and find the schools basically who are actually offering in-person classes or basically who are adapting hybrid model for the fall semester 2020 and transfer the service to those programs basically. But you're an OPT student, it doesn't matter whether the school is completely offering online program. You'll still be able to continue your practical training, either as a part of the program study or following the completion study. That's not going to change you anything basically for the fall semester 2020. If the school changes the operational stance mid-semester and as a result of non-immigrant students switches to only online classes, or a non-immigrant student changes their course selections and as a result ends up taking an entirely online course load, schools are reminded that non-immigrant students within the United States are not permitted to take a full course of study through online courses. There is also one more thing which is very, very important. What this memorandum is talking about is that what in the beginning school basically adapts basically in-person class model or hybrid class model. But however, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, if they decided to convert in the middle of the semester, just like how it happened for the summer semester, basically in the middle of the summer semester in March, the schools have converted into the complete online programming, online classes basically. If the schools decide to do that in the future, still at the time, the student status automatically changes basically. At the time, students will be required to depart the country and it's not permitted or allowed for them to stay in this country for the fall semester 2020. So no such exemptions have been given. So one thing I would tell you is basically do not hope that your school basically, if they're adopting hybrid model and online model, basically going to adapt tomorrow complete online courses, so that will be okay for you. No, basically that is the case. Do not join the program. Make sure that that school basically is not going to make changes in the middle of the semester without any proper guidance or any further guidelines or exemptions provided by the SEVP for these programs for the students to attend basically. Okay, so that is very, very important. See, many students basically, if they cannot continue education in this country because they're basically attending only online program, or they cannot transfer to a school which has in-person classes and everything, and they still want to stay in this country, they still have an option basically because it's right now summer semester, so they can basically change their status to B1, B2 until the COVID-19 emergency expires basically, so that they can travel back to home country and then again come back on F1 visa, whether the schools basically open on a regular schedule and conditions are going to happen normally basically. Okay, or basically that is the other option which one has. Or if somebody has an option to convert to other statuses like H4 status or H1B status basically, they should do that also basically. Students, I mean, somebody can pursue their education being an H4 status basically. Okay, only the difference between the people studying an H4 and people studying an F1 is basically is that some F1 students and some M1 students may be eligible for practical training upon completion of their program or a pre-completion of their program that allows the students to work either part-time or a full-time in the United States. For H4s, obviously, if somebody is an H4 and studying in this program, or somebody is an L2 and studying in the school over here, or some other visa, dependent visa, or some other visa that allows them to study in this country full-time, they're not eligible for the practical training. That is only the thing which is different from F1 and other visa statuses and everything. But I will advise is basically somebody is very serious to pursue education in a particular school which only offers online program, and if they have a possibility changing to some other status, they should do that. Basically, for example, if there's a possibility to change for them to H4 status, they should be able to do that and attend in the classes basically. Same thing, if somebody changes to H1B and still if they want to pursue the education while you being on H1B, you can do a part-time education in this country. And the part-time study can be either online or basically in person also, depending upon your convenience and everything at that time. Okay, and that's what is basically this memorandum is actually talking about basically. Okay, what it's telling is basically is that it's actually advising the schools, especially the DSOs, that they should issue new Form I-20 to each student certifying the school is not operating entirely online, that the student is not taking an entirely online course load for the fall 2020 semester, and the student is taking the minimum number of online courses required to make normal progress in their degree program. Or DSOs also must indicate this information in the Form I-20 remarks field in the service basically. Okay, so it's very important that I-20 will have these notations in their forms basically, and also in the service system also. Okay, and also they should update and reissue all Form I-20s to reflect these changes in program enrollment and student information within 21 business days of this publication of this broadcast message, that is on August 4, 2020 basically. Okay, within 21 business days of publication of this broadcast message on August 4, 2020. So what they're saying is basically is that they're going to broadcast this message on August 4, 2020, and the schools basically must basically provide updated and reissue all I-20s within 21 days, and with this information, what I'm saying that basically that if the school is going to adapt either in-person classes or a hybrid model, those information has to be noted in the I-20 basically. Okay, and also basically we're already remaining active studies basically if they make normal progress in a program of study or engage in a poor practical training, either as a part of a program or a following completion of study. As I said, I think we already discussed exactly what this particular memo and everything is being done. Hope this has provided clarity to all of you basically, but still it's a lot of information which I discussed in this call right now. That's why I would like to open up a call for a Q&A and kindly please try to restrain your questions pertaining to this particular memorandum in this call right now, rather than asking any other question. Of course, you are welcome to ask other questions also, but I prefer first to answer to the individuals who are actually asking questions about their student status and basically or somebody whom they know about their effect, how they're being impacted with this particular modification exemptions announced by the SEVP yesterday, basically. Could you please open the Q&A session right now?
Q&A session has started.
Hello, how many are there? I mean, anybody's on the call? Anybody have any questions?
Hi, I had a question.
Sure, ma'am. Tell me.
So, few universities in the last semester do not have full-time load for students. In the last semester, they might have a reduced course load because they already met most of their graduation requirements.
Okay.
So, in that case, what if they have only one course left and that itself is online? Because that meets the criteria that it's the maximum 3 credits.
Yeah, as long as if the school can certify a full-time equivalency for you at that time, and if it's only online course, the issue here is basically what the school is offering, basically, right? If the school is offering in-person classes, or if it's adapting hybrid model, then it is okay for you to take one online course, basically, right? If that is only the course, that's up to 3 credit hours, you can do that, basically. Okay?
Yeah, so
it's about what the school is actually adapting. If the school is adapting complete online program, then you can't do that, basically.
the school is adapting hybrid model, but the classes are online technically.
If it is adapting hybrid model, then I think one should be okay under the circumstance, as long as school certifies that the student actually enrolled in the program as required, in-person classes or online courses, and he meets the requirements as a full-time student, basically. Sometimes it happens, basically, especially if somebody's paper is due and they do not finish that paper and they meet all the requirements for the graduation, and they may have to register one course in order to continue or finish that paper in the next semester, basically. So it's a very common scenario, and the school DSOs and your school program will basically attest to the fact in I-20 that you have been approved as a full-time student equivalent, basically, That's what it is basically at that time. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next caller, please.
Hello?
Yes, next caller, please.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Herbe, and I'm a student at Iowa State. And currently my college is adapting a hybrid structure. But what would happen if the college closed 1 week in and they shifted all the classes to online?
I believe I already discussed in my discussion saying that is not permissible, basically. If that happens, basically, then the students are required to depart the country, basically. If the school, if adapts a hybrid model right now in the beginning and takes the admission of the students, basically, and certifies to the students, basically, and issues the I-20 saying that they adapt a hybrid model, and the students are registering online courses that are normally required in the hybrid program, basically, along with the in-person classes. And then later on, if the school adapts basically complete online program, they have to update SEVIS and SEVP accordingly, and then have to change their reissue I-20 saying that it's completely online, which is not acceptable at the time for the foreign students to remain in this country by pursuing complete online courses, basically. Okay? So what it's saying is that schools basically have to make a really decision over here whether they will be able to continue completely the coursework in hybrid model or not. I'm confident that schools are going to work on this basically to make sure that they will not lose enough revenue from the foreign students. It's basically what's going to happen is that many students basically are registering in this program, especially graduate program and PhD programs, because they want to do the research, they want to participate, they want to contribute to the programs, for the programs in the United States. If somebody has to live in abroad and pursue their education, I don't think they'll be willing to spend those thousands and thousands of dollars basically to the US schools just because to have a degree from the US without any future in the US, basically, or without learning anything in practicality with the US environment, basically. Okay, that's a practical issue for many schools. And point is, many schools actually for the graduate programs and the PhD programs are dependent upon the foreign students entering into those programs. Very few American students actually register for the graduate programs in every year, economically. Every year, on an average, if you look into the data, across the country in many graduate programs or higher level, even programs that are higher level than graduate programs, basically. Okay, except professional degrees, basically, except it's a law school or it's a medical school. But in general, basically for graduate programs, many graduate programs are basically survive in many universities because of the enrollment of the foreign students, because the foreign students not only provide economic stability for those programs, but also the emotional quotient, basically that's basically their intelligence aspects also for the program, basically. They contribute a lot for the schools, research and other things, basically, at that level, basically. So unfortunately, if the hybrid model will be changed to complete online program, and then the students who actually register in the school, they will be forced to depart the country, or they'll be forced to transfer to some other program, which basically allows them to attend in-person classes along with the online courses and stay in this country as a full-time student. Hello? Hello?
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah. I'm sorry, I think my answer is too long, but hope you understood. I'm trying to explain what's behind it and what is the optimism I have that schools will adapt policies with clarity in coming fall semester because of this particular memorandum. That was my intention by going through that circular, going on those facts circularly for a long period of time. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. Next caller, please.
Hi, my name is Ankita. I'm on STEM OPT right now, and it is expiring on August 11th, 2020. My company laid off me on June 3rd, and my H-1B got approved on June 11th. Will I be able to transfer? Yes.
With the same company?
Yeah.
You should be able to transfer H-1B to any company, ma'am. Should not be a problem.
I have tried with the one consultancy, but they were saying that you have a lot of time because it's still July. You can do it maybe in September. So do I need to wait for that, or do I need to go for a PhD, or do I need to go for a day one CPT?
There are two steps which you have to take, ma'am. One is basically is that you can file for H-1B transfer to a new company. You're not subject to the cap anymore, basically, unless the company withdraws your H-1B, stating that they did not utilize your cap number. Okay, especially if change of status is ineffective automatically if they did not withdraw their H-1B in that way. So you're not subject to the cap anymore. So basically, you should be able to file your transfer with the change of status effective October 1, 2020 to a new employer. You can do that, basically. Second thing is, you have to maintain valid legal status in this country, basically. You cannot be unemployed more than 60 days on a STEM OPT. Okay? So within those 60 days, either you have to find a new employer or basically ensure that you basically register some other program or change to some other valid legal status in this country to stay or remain in this country, basically. Okay? So those are the two steps which you have to take, basically. Okay? If you have an employer who's going to hire you on a STEM OPT and that should be fine. You should notify within 60 days of your unemployment to the school that you have been employed by a new employer. And then basically that employer actually can file an H-1B effective date from October 1, 2020. When is your STEM OPT is expiring? August 11, 2020.
August 11th, yeah.
Yeah, basically, that's what it is, basically. And for that 1.5 month, you can file for you can join the PhD program and continue in the PhD program for that 1.5 month, basically.
Okay. I have a question that on my H-1B is not active, right, with a company which they have filed it. So how come
Yes.
USCIS will say yes for that? Like when I'm
Because your H-1B, you're already counted towards the cap, and your H-1B will become active from October 1, 2020, and your transfer start date of H-1B also will be from October 1, 2020, not prior to that. So you can file H-1B petition, transfer petition, or a change of status, or an exemption within 180 days of start date of H-1B employment, basically. Okay? Therefore, your H-1B employment date, if it's anytime on or after October 1, 2020 with a new employer, then they can file H-1B transfer right now, stating that you are not subject to the cap because you already have an H-1B approval. We do this all the time in our office, all the years. We never had any issue with it.
Oh, will you be, can you give your consultancy name or something so that I can try? Because I don't have any employer who can help you.
Okay, we are basically a law firm, but basically you can call our office. We will talk in detail. And
Sure.
our office number, basically, we will publish it in the end of the call, basically, to you. And just give us a call tomorrow, and we'll talk in detail, ma'am. You know?
Yeah, thank you. Sorry I've taken your time. I'm sorry for that.
No, you're welcome, ma'am. It's not sorry. It's a good call. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Next caller, please.
Hello, Bhanu. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
This is again the H4 and H4 EAD. Can I ask that question?
Sir, I would prefer somebody talking about this particular work getting affected with this memorandum right now. And
I was there last call and I couldn't get my line.
Okay, I'm going to talk to you, sir, but it's going to be quick, sir.
Very quick. I just have very quick questions. What's the normal processing times for the H4 EAD?
Normal processing times these days is taking around 4 to 5 months, basically. You know, but however, if your H4 status is pending, they cannot approve your H4 EAD, basically.
Yes, that's what's currently both applied and pending. And I think last call you mentioned to somebody that we could write a letter from get a letter from the employer saying that to expedite the process. Is there any?
You can request for expediting process, but you can request for expediting process, but only problem is the H4 requires biometrics, right? Basically, and if someone did not complete the biometrics, then obviously even if you make an expedited request, they may not consider it for that reason. You know.
I see.
So that is the problem there, basically. You know, I mean, definitely you can request a letter. We're very happy to talk to you, basically, and see. I mean, if you want our help in making an expedited request, we're very happy to help you, basically. And that's what it is. But as I said, whether it will be effective, whether they will consider that or not, we do not know. As I said, basically, it's a discretionary relief by the USCIS, basically, right? But the officer must feel compelled or must convince that there are very valid grounds to expedite the particular application, basically, which is basically does not happen in each and every case, basically. Okay? I just want to let you know that. Okay?
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Next caller, please. Hello.
Hi. So I'm a student at the University at Buffalo, and I'm on an H4 visa right now under my dad as a dependent. I've applied for my F1 like maybe 2 weeks ago, and what would happen if they do ask me to leave? I mean, they can't ask me to leave right now, right?
I mean,
if they do become
may I know the reason why you filed for? Yeah, may I know the reason why you filed for F1 change of status?
Because I will be I will be aging out. I'll be 21 and in February, so I can finish this semester without any hassle. But I have applied for my F1, so it could come back.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of time for the F1 to be approved, basically. Okay, and
Okay.
you said you applied 2 weeks ago, basically, right? So
Yep.
if it's only 2 weeks ago, then you're talking about at least 5 to 6 months for the F1 change of status application to be processed, basically. So it's very likely that your F1 change of status will be approved for the spring semester or a winter semester rather than for the fall, basically. Okay, and even if it's for, let's assume if it's approved for fall also, basically. Is the University of Buffalo adapting complete online program? Basically, did they make any announcement about that?
They've kind of told us that they're gonna take safety measures like for a hybrid mode, but nothing is like confirmed. They said that they would say it next week.
Okay, so as of now, what you are aware is basically they're going to adapt hybrid model, basically, right?
Yeah.
And if they adapt hybrid model, then you're okay. You're okay, basically, right?
Okay.
And that's what it is basically right now. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. Next caller, please.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So I have a question. Like, my university is providing hybrid model. And as you said, we need to have 50% online and 50% in-person classes to be taken. I have 3 courses for fall. So if I take 1 course is online and other 2 courses on ground, would that be fine? Or
Absolutely
how does
fine.
it work in a hybrid model?
It's absolutely fine. It is absolutely fine.
Okay. So what if I take all the courses online in a hybrid model?
That's going to be a problem because the school has to certify that you are taking required online courses for a full-time student status, basically. So I think in hybrid model, theoretically speaking, it is possible that students can take complete online courses as long as the school certifies that is basically student attending normal full-time equivalent courses online, basically. Okay. But however, I'm assuming that it's better not to take complete online courses over there because USS come back and can say that basically that the regulation does not allow students to take complete online courses. So there should exist actually an hybrid model that has been actually followed by the school, and they were strictly implementing that for every student on how students are allowed to register classes in a particular program, basically, right? Otherwise, school may be found in violation of SEVP regulations, basically. Okay, so that's what it is basically. But theoretically, it is possible for hybrid models for the students to study online courses for the entire time. But the thing is, the school has to certify that the program is not entirely online, right? And that's why if the students are attending entirely online courses, then the school is misrepresented in the fact over there, which can cause an issue for them. That is only the concern schools has to look into under those circumstances, that there is any issue of misrepresentation or a violation by the school. Otherwise, as from the student perspective, theoretically, it is possible.
Okay, so the minimum number of courses to be taken online will be imposed by the university itself.
Absolutely, depending upon the program to program, right? Depending upon the program to program and how the school is going to design their programs, basically, in hybrid mode.
Okay, so it depends on the school.
Right?
Okay, and I have another question. Like you said, we will be given a new I-20 within 21 days.
After
so
August 4th. Yes.
So we need to get that before August 4th?
No, it said that basically what they said is that the SEVP is going to broadcast this message on August 4th, 2020 about the changes in the program enrollment and the student information, basically, right? So from August 4, 2020, within 21 business days, the schools have to issue new I-20s for all the students, basically, reflecting those changes in program enrollment and student information, basically. That means from August 4, you have 21 days for the schools to issue new I-20s for the fall semester, basically.
Okay, it's from August 4th.
It's from August 4th, yeah.
So
That means
will the
schools can
university
issue I-20 even now also for you with the modifications. There's no limit on that. But it's a mandatory requirement is within 21 days from August 4, 2020, they have to issue new I-20s, basically. You know?
Okay, so the student, are the students supposed to submit some documents, or is the university responsible for, issuing the I-20s and all? Or are they
University is responsible. University is responsible.
Okay.
But you have to follow with your DSO, right? Because it's your status. Right?
Okay. So the university will update the service department.
University is required to update the service. Make sure that you follow up with your DSO accordingly. All of you follow up with your DSOs basically, and make sure that they update your service records and issue new I-20s with these new changes in their program enrollment, or they're adapting a hybrid model, something like that basically, along with the student information. It's very, very important to have a timely follow-up with your DSOs pertaining to this. Okay?
Okay. Okay, so as long as we are in the hybrid model, we are not into trouble, right?
Nothing to trouble. Nothing to worry about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Very good questions. Very good questions. Very proper.
Yeah.
Next caller, please.
Hello, this is Shreya. So I have a question regarding CPA.
Ma'am, I'm not able to hear you properly.
Okay, I'm Shreya. So I had a question.
Hello? Your voice is breaking, ma'am. Somehow, I think there's a connectivity issue here. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hi, my name is Anusha.
Yes,
can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Actually, my college has adopted this hybrid model, and I'm in the third semester right now. So all my courses are finished, and I'm working on my research now. And I have only research work left over for the fall semester. So what will be my situation like? Is that okay? Because this research work, I need to work with the professor. It can be online or offline, depending on the professor's.
Yes, it's absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. It is absolutely okay if the school is adopting hybrid model in general, basically.
Oh, okay.
And that's what I said. I think I explained this with the first caller in the Q&A.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Maybe I missed it. Sorry.
Yeah.
So there won't be any problem with that, right? And
there should not be any problem.
Okay. They also told they will be modifying our I-20s. So yeah, then also it won't be any problem, right?
There should not be any problem. They have to modify your I-20 basically. And they have to designate you that you are basically a full-time student equivalent basically for completing your research paper basically.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Next caller, please.
Hello.
Hello.
The college I'm with I'm on CPT, and the college I'm with is always online. It does conduct a couple of in-person classes at the end of the semester. That is the only in-person class we have, and the rest of the time it's always online, and the assignments are online. So, will that impact me?
Ma'am, as I said, basically, what a school is adopting basically, right? If the school is adopting complete online courses program for the fall semester 2020, then you're not allowed to register in that program, in that school basically. You're required to, you can register in the program, but you're not allowed to remain staying in this country basically with the registering in that program in that particular school basically. Okay? So I do not know what you are talking about basically, if the school is adapting complete online program, then you will be required to.
it does have in-person classes once in a semester or twice.
I do. In general, basically, that is not allowed because if somebody in general regulations requires students to be a full-time student, basically they have to attend. They cannot take more than one course or not more than 3 credit hours in a semester to be considered a full-time student, basically. In general, that's what the regulation says, basically. That means if it's a graduate level, as I said, if somebody is taking 9 credit hours, they have to take a minimum 6 credit hours in person and 3 credit hours or 1 class online. So if the school has a reverse program, then I think school is basically in violation of the regulations, or student is in violation of the status under those circumstances in general, basically. Okay? That's what the normal regulations are, basically. Okay? If the exemptions which we're talking about is basically somebody adapting a hybrid model, basically. So that is entirely different thing, basically. Okay? And what you're talking to me is in general, I believe. In general, if that is the case, then you may be considered out of status, basically. Okay?
Okay.
And I mean, with my understanding of the facts, what you stated, that's what I feel like, basically. But I could be wrong, but that's what my understanding of the facts you stated, that it seems like that it is not permitted. It is not permitted that school can have only one in-person class and all online courses, basically, in normal circumstances. Not during this COVID-19 pandemic, but in normal circumstances.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I'll have a couple of more calls because of the time constraint. Unfortunately, I'm not able to answer everyone's calls in this particular call. I'll be taking 2 more calls in the queue, and then if anybody has any questions, please post those questions in the forums and also in your emails, basically. I will be responding in the forums, basically, tonight for all the questions that have been posted pertaining to this particular memorandum, or whom I could not answer their questions regarding this memorandum. And also, you all can send an email to us, basically. My email ID is Bhanu at bbilawgroup.com. It's BHANU at B as a boy, B as a boy, I as an indigo, lawgroup.com, LAWGROUP.com. Or you can also send an email to our office also, which is contact@bbilawgroup.com. And our phone number is basically 703-496-7722. You can basically make a call to set up an appointment, or if anybody wants to talk in person with me privately to discuss more in detail about their particular issues and everything, they can reach out to our office on that particular number and schedule a time with me. I'm very happy to talk in detail also. And any further details if you want about our form, you can visit our website, which is www.bbilawgroup.com. And now I will take the next caller, please. Who is the next caller?
Hello, Bhanu.
Yes, this is he.
Yeah, Bhanu, this is Madhu. I'm working with ThoughtWave, actually. So I have a couple of employees who are on 40-hour working, and their CPT is under renewal, which is going to come by August. So is that going to affect us with this new implementation?
Yes, sir. It depends upon what schools they are in, basically enrolled in, and what those schools are basically implementing or adapting for their admission policies or enrollment policies for fall semester 2020, And I think if you want to talk in more detail, Madhu Garu, I think we can have a personal call so that I can basically go through the details a bit completely, because which program, which school, basically what they're trying to adapt. We can discuss about that in private and then basically see what are the options available for them to maintain valid legal status in this country for the fall semester 2020.
Okay, sure. That will help, for sure.
Thank you, Madhu. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next caller, please.
Hello, Bhanu Garu. I have one of my relative coming from India. She was approved with F1 visa for summer 2020 in February, and unfortunately she couldn't come to summer. And now she got a new I-20 from the university. And will she be able to come back in? Does that 5-month rule apply for her?
No, 5-month rule does not apply to her because she's outside the country. She could defer her admission, basically. Our visa is still valid, basically, in the passport. Okay.
Okay. I have one more question. So, I mean, if the university is adapting more than 50% of hybrid, 60% of online and 40% of hybrid, so will that be still okay, or it must be like a 50 and 50 ratio?
No, it's absolutely okay. I just give an example as a 50-50 ratio, but there is no particular percentage. It is hybrid model. This memorandum has not provided any details beyond that, basically. Okay, so as a general normal person, when you read something like a hybrid model, it's a combination of both in-person classes as well as online classes. That could be 50-50, there could be 60-40, there could be 40-60. It does not matter, basically. You know.
Okay. And one more thing.
That's my understanding. Basically. Okay.
And I have one more question. So she got deferred her admission for fall. So they have issued a new I-20. So do she needs to get a new I-20 again with the new regulation on it?
Absolutely. She has to, depending upon what kind of a program that school is basically adapting. You know, she has to get a new I-20. Yes.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Bhanu.
You're welcome. Next caller, please.
Hello, I'm Rohan. I would like to ask whether can we take a semester break for the fall 2020, and how would it affect my visa status?
Well, for health reasons, you should be able to take. There should be some exceptional and extraordinary circumstances, basically, that doesn't allow you to attend classes, basically, for the particular semester, and your school should approve that, basically. You know, most of the times, if it's a health reason, yes, you can do that, basically. Okay, and I think you should talk to your school DSO and see, basically, whether they will allow somebody to take a break, staying in this country, and then allow you to again register for the classes in the spring semester, basically. Okay, or a winter semester, whichever it is, basically.
I have one more question. If it crosses more than 5 months, I need to get a new identity and a new visa, right? So do I need to go to
if you're out of status in this country? No, sir. I think you got confused on that. If you found in violation of your F1 status in this country, that means basically if you found in violation of your F1 status, supposedly you basically did not register for classes timely, and your service got terminated, or something happened which is beyond your control, and you fail to maintain valid F1 status in this country, then you have 5 months time to file for reinstatement of status in this country, basically. Okay? Within the 5 months time, you have to file for reinstatement of status. Okay? That's what is going to happen. Okay?
So if I have an semester break for 10 months period, then I need to get a new visa and new I-20, right?
I don't think any school will allow you to have a 10-month break in the United States.
Okay, got it.
Okay, I don't think that is. It's a very rarity. I've not seen schools allowing you to take a break more than one semester. And also, usually schools don't allow because they may be found in violation of the regulations if they allow students to take a break for semesters, basically. So they'll be very careful in that. Okay. As I said, if somebody qualifies for really extraordinary and exceptional circumstances to take a break, then only school will approve or authorize somebody to take a break. You should talk to your school DSO on that.
I got it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. A final caller, please. Just one more call. We'll take, because it will be 1 hour for me. So I'll take one more call.
Yeah, Mr. Bhanu Garu, quick question. If somebody has finished 3 semesters, a quarter-based system, if they finish the 3 semesters and they're eligible for a semester off, would they be able to take it in the fall or they cannot?
I mean, as I said, I mean, usually nobody is eligible to take an off on semester if they want to be in valid F1 status in this country. There are certain exceptions, basically, for health reasons or any other conditions. If there's an extraordinary and exceptional circumstance, basically, then school may allow them to take a break for 1 semester, basically, or maybe 1 quarter, basically. And he has to prove or make his case to the school and to the school DSO, and they have to make those kind of notices in the service record, basically, and keep his record active in service, basically. Okay? So it's very important that school DSO on a case-by-case basis verifies and reviews these things. Otherwise, everybody comes into this country, they will just take a breaks and they will continue doing that, basically. They will never attend the classes, they will never complete their programs, basically. Okay? So
sure.
That's why it's very unusual for schools to approve somebody to take a break unless there is a serious health issue or other serious extreme and extraordinary circumstance or exceptional circumstance that warrants the students have to take a break and stay or remain in the United States and cannot travel abroad during the semester. Therefore, school will continue maintaining the student's record active in the service, basically.
Sure. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you all. You all have a wonderful day, and God bless you all. Please stay safe, and please follow social distancing policies. Kindly wear a mask, and do not. I mean, that's all I can advise. Be healthy and be safe, and God bless you all, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Goodbye.